Madeleine, very striking, beautiful child. I'd almost, if I want to better phrase, call her doll-like. She was very, I think, very unique-looking child. She'd got very pretty, blonde hair in a bob. She was quite petite child, and she's very bubbly. Very, she's a very good child to interact with. She was very bright. You could have a lot of fun with Madeleine. She was, Kate and Jerry's, pride and joy. They'd had a lot of trouble conceiving, with IVF and everything, She was their miracle. She was obviously very unique with the fact that she got the iris defect, but, she was certainly a happy-go-lucky child. She would interact with other children very well, as I said on the other earlier recording. She played very happily with Lily and,
The statements you are about to hear are part of the official PJ case files, the Portuguese police records from the Madeleine McCann investigation. These are not theories, nor a speculation, and also not opinions. First, the Gaspars. Dr. Katharina Gaspar and her husband, Dr. Aurel Gaspar, are both medical doctors from the UK. They were friends of Kate McCann, and through her they came to know Fiona and David Payne. They holidayed together before 2007, and their recollections of those trips would later form a part of their witness testimony. Second, Yvonne Martin, a British social worker with 25 years of experience in child protection. She happened to be in Praia da Luz at the time Madeleine disappeared. Concerned for the family, she offered her support, but what she saw and remembered became a formal statement to police. Why do these accounts matter? Because despite being part of the official PJ files, they are rarely discussed in mainstream coverage of the case. This documentary will present their words faithfully, exactly as recorded. We will make it clear that these are their words, not ours. Our role is to listen, to understand, and to ask what these overlooked statements might reveal about the larger story. On the 16th of May 2007, Dr. Katharina Zacharias Gaspar gave a formal witness statement to police. She explained that she was making her statement in relation to the McCann family, who at that time were in Portugal. She identified the family as Jerry McCann, his wife Kate, and their 3 children, Madeleine, aged 4, and the twins Sean and Amelie, aged 2. At the time of her statement, Madeleine had been missing for 2 weeks. In her statement, Dr. Katharina Gaspar explained that she is married to Dr. Savio Gaspar, also known as Aurel. Together, they have 2 daughters, E, who was almost 3 at the time, and I, who was 1 year old. She said she and her husband had been married for 11 years and that both of them work as general practitioners. Katharina added that she first met Savio about 14 years earlier when they were both working in Exeter. Dr. Gaspar explained how her family came to know the McCanns. Her husband, Savio, had studied medicine at Dundee University between 1987 and 1992, where he met Kate, who at that time was known as Kate Healy. Katharina herself first met Kate and Jerry in 1998 at their wedding in Liverpool. She and Savio were invited because of Savio's long-standing friendship with Kate. She said that, as far as she knew, Savio had not met Jerry before that day. From that point onwards, the 2 families grew closer. They would meet about 3 times a year and sometimes spend weekends away together. She recalled one such weekend in 2002 or 2003 when she and Savio stayed with Kate and Jerry in Devon. They also kept in touch regularly by telephone. Dr. Gaspar said that in September of 2005, she, her husband Savio, and their daughter E, who was about 1.5 years old, went on holiday abroad with the McCann family. Kate and Jerry were there with their children. Madeleine, who was around 2.5 at the time, and the twins, Sean and Amelie, who were still just a few months old. Katharina added that she herself was pregnant during this holiday. She explained that other families joined them in Majorca. Dave and Fiona Payne were there with their daughter, who was about 1 year old, and Fiona was also pregnant. Another couple, Tara and Stuart, came with their 2 sons, aged 1 and 3. Sorry about that. Katharina said she had not known them before and could not remember their surname or the names of their children. The Gaspars spent 1 week on this holiday, while the McCanns and the Paynes stayed for 2 weeks, while Tara and Stuart and their 2 children also stayed for just 1 week. She believed it was Dave Payne who had organized the holiday arrangements. All of the families stayed together in a large house. Dr. Katrina Gaspar recalled that around the 4th or 5th day of the holiday, something happened that stayed in her mind. 2 or 3 days had gone by. She said they were all staying in Mallorca, where, in general terms, they had fun with our children. Possibly around the 4th or perhaps the 5th day abroad, she remembered an incident that stayed recorded in her head. Dr. Gaspar said that after hearing Dave Payne's comments, she became more attentive at bath times during the holiday in Majorca. She explained that it was usually the fathers who took care of bathing the children. If Dave was the one bathing them, she would make a point of walking close to the bathroom. She remembered telling her husband Savio to be present if Dave was helping to bathe their daughter. She said she was very clear about this because what she had heard from Dave had disturbed her, and she did not trust him to bathe her daughter alone. When she saw Dave make the gestures a second time, it reinforced what she already thought about his attitude towards girls. She also recalled that during the holiday, Dave and his wife Fiona, along with their daughter, once took Madeleine out with them for the day. This was so Kate and Jerry could have some time alone with the twins. She added that she was not worried about Madeleine's safety on that occasion because Fiona and her daughter were with her, as well as Dave. Dr. Gaspar said that after the Mallorca holiday, she only saw Dave and Fiona Payne once more at a meeting in Leicester. She had not spoken to them since then. In the 2 years that followed, she and her family met the McCanns occasionally, usually at children's birthday parties. She recalled that the first time she heard the news of Madeleine's disappearance was on the radio. She said her thoughts immediately went to Dave. She asked her husband, Savio, if Dave had also been on holiday with the McCanns in Portugal, but he did not know. Later, as she watched the television coverage closely, she noticed Dave appearing in the background of the images from the first days after Madeleine went missing. From that, she believed he was there in Portugal with them. On Wednesday, the 16th of May, 2007, at 5:40 p.m., Dr. Gaspar gave police an A4 page containing 2 photographic images, which she marked as reference KZG1. She explained that the photographs had been taken during the Majorca holiday. In one, Dave was wearing a white t-shirt. She identified the woman beside him as his wife, Fiona. The man holding a glass of wine in the picture was Stuart. She confirmed the photographs were taken in Majorca. In his witness statement, dated 16th May 2007, Dr. Aurel Savio Gaspar said this statement was made in relation to the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. He said he currently works as a GP at St. Clement's Surgery in Birmingham, where he had been employed for the last 9 years as of when he gave his statement. He identified Madeleine as the daughter of Kate and Jerry McCann and confirmed that the Gaspars are friends of the family. In his statement, Dr. Gaspar said he has known Kate since 1987 when they met at Dundee Medical School and became friends. They completed their medical degrees in 1992. After finishing his degree, he began his career in Exeter, and he believed Kate went to Glasgow. He said he only met up with Kate again in 1997 or 1998 when he and his wife Katharina were invited to Kate and Jerry's wedding. He said that after the wedding, they lost contact for a time, and he thought the McCanns went to New Zealand. They met again in 2001 in Birmingham, when the couple visited the house where he and Katharina were living. He said that was the first time he talked with Jerry. Dr. Gaspar said that from 2001 to 2005, they were in regular contact and often visited each other's homes. He explained that they planned holidays for the first week of September 2005 in Majorca, Spain, together with 3 other couples, including Kate and Jerry. He said they did not know the other 2 couples before that holiday. They were friends of Kate and Jerry and had not met previously. Dr. Gaspar said that when they went on that holiday, he and Catherine had 1 daughter, aged about 18 months. He said Kate and Jerry had 3 children, Madeleine, almost 2, and the twins who are 6 months old. He said the other couples were Fiona and David Payne, and their daughter, who was 1 year old, and another couple who had 2 boys aged 3 and 1. He did not remember their surname or the names of their children. He said he and Katharina had booked the holiday for 1 week, while the other 2 couples had booked for 2 weeks, and that they all stayed together in a large villa. He added that everyone arrived separately at the villa. In his statement, Dr. Gaspar described a gesture he remembered David Payne making during the holiday. He said this happened during a meal at the end of the day in the villa. He did not remember the exact time or date, but stated that they would usually dine between 7:30 and 9 in the evening, and he thought this occurred in the middle of the holiday. He said they were sitting around a white plastic table in the villa. Dr. Gaspar said that when he saw this gesture, he immediately thought it to be in very bad taste, regardless of the context of the conversation. He said he did not know if anyone else saw the gesture apart from his wife, Katharina. He stated that after this gesture, they did not notice any others, and as far as he knew, the gesture was not repeated during the holiday. He said they never commented on the gesture during the rest of the holiday, and he thought no more about it at that time. Dr. Gaspar said he could describe David Payne as a Caucasian male, about 1.78 meters tall, of medium complexion, with brown hair. He said Dave used either glasses or contact lenses depending on the circumstances. He also said he considered Dave to be a pleasant person and did not remember him having any unusual characteristics. In his statement, Dr. Gaspar said that during the holiday, Dave never behaved in an inappropriate manner with Madeleine or with any of the other children. He said Dave was popular with the children, and he took that as a sign that Dave was a close friend of the family. Dr. Gaspar said he never distrusted Dave. He recalled one occasion after the holiday when they were with Kate and Jerry and Fiona, and Dave were also present. A dinner in a restaurant in Leicester in 2005 with the 3 couples without children. He did not remember the restaurant's name. He said they had a pleasant evening, and he did not remember Dave behaving inappropriately on that occasion. He said they had not spoken to Dave or Fiona since December 2005, and that their contact was only because they were friends of Kate and Jerry, not for any other reason. Dr. Gaspar said the last time he saw Kate, Jerry, Madeleine, Sean, and Amelie was in March 2007, when they came to his house for the first birthday celebration of his daughter. He said that on the morning of the 4th of May, Katharina saw the news about Madeleine on television, and they were very shocked and worried, given that they were close friends. In the days following the news, they discovered that Fiona and David Payne were also with the McCanns in Portugal. Dr. Gaspar said that it was at that moment that Katharina reminded him of the gesture David had made in Majorca in 2005. He said that, while Katharina clearly remembered the gesture and believed David had been referring to Madeleine, he himself only remembered that Katharina had seen the gesture. He had forgotten the episode, and it had not been the subject of conversation between them. He said that, at the time, he did not feel the gesture was referring to Madeleine. Dr. Arul Savio Gaspar concluded his statement by expressing that it was his wish the police be aware of his preoccupation with the gesture made by David Payne.
Algum comportamento extravagante do ponto de vista da sua tendência para ser pedófilo?
É verdade. Há uma figura mistério, esta é outra parte do mistério, que pode ter a ver até com essa saída de Clarence Mitchell do governo britânico para apoiar o casal. Podem dizer que é teoria de conspiração, mas não é. Há um casal britânico também médicos, que 2 anos antes foram passar férias com o casal McCann, com os filhos, com Madeleine, e com outros casais médicos, entre eles um senhor que é o David Payne. O senhor David Payne é a última testemunha, a testemunha que no dia 3 de maio diz que foi lá ao apartamento e que viu aquelas criancinhas e que pareciam uns anjos celestiais, estavam todas muito lavadinhas, muito branquinhas, uma coisa mesmo dos céus. E é a pessoa que dava banho nas férias, nestas férias que ele organizava, que dava banho às meninas de 2, 3 anos, não só às suas filhas, aos seus filhos, mas também aos filhos dos outros. E é nessas circunstâncias, em dar banho aos filhos dos outros, em comentários que faz num período de férias, em que fala com, isto segundo as declarações da doutora Catherine Gaspar, que é o nome que se chama a pessoa que denuncia, declarações que estão no processo, em que diz que...
Denunciam comportamentos extravagantes, o senhor.
Sim. E este é algo, se tivermos tempo, tentar explicar. Ela diz que... O que ela diz é que ele fez um gesto e fez perguntas a Gerald McCann sobre Madeleine McCann, à frente da própria Madeleine McCann, que na altura tinha...
Na investigação portuguesa nunca foi explorada a possibilidade desse senhor ser pedófilo?
Exatamente, a questão é esta. É que essas declarações chegaram a Portugal depois de eu sair da investigação. Em 2 de outubro, chegaram poucos meses depois. São declarações da doutora Catherine Gaspar e do marido à polícia britânica no dia 16 de maio de 2007, 15 dias depois do desaparecimento, declarações de que a polícia portuguesa não foi informada e que chegam a Portugal via por mail, não por fax, debaixo de outros documentos, e que vêm soltas essas declarações, e alguém da polícia britânica o que fez foi, então que estas declarações, agora vocês investiguem, questionem, e nunca ninguém da polícia portuguesa, quem me substituiu e quem veio a seguir, ainda questionou, nem a Scotland Yard, ninguém questiona, ninguém investiga o que é que ali se passa. A doutora Catherine Gaspar, que denunciou o Sr. David Payne à polícia britânica, nunca foi ouvida no processo português e nunca esteve incluída na carta convocatória que foi emitida.
Que eu costumo dizer que é enigmática e que está pouco, não foi bem investigada. Não se sabe muita coisa acerca desta pessoa.
Um homem misterioso com um perfil ligado a indícios de comportamentos pouco próprios com crianças. Costumava até dar banho às filhas dos amigos com quem passava férias. A CMTV, Gonçalo Amaral e Francisco Moita Flores, ex-inspectores da Polícia Judiciária, dizem que esta é uma das lacunas no processo.
É estranho, num núcleo de amigos, em que um amigo dá banho aos filhos dos outros amigos, e em que tudo isto é natural, sem ninguém interpelar isto do ponto de vista da investigação.
Qual o peso que terá tido no desaparecimento, se é que teve algum peso, e o que é que se passaria ali com aquele indivíduo? Um é este, é dos 30 minutos ou 30 segundos, o que é que lá foi fazer. O outro é o facto de dar banho, ter sempre o cuidado de dar banho às filhas dos outros.
This is the official witness testimony of Yvonne Warren Martin, a British social worker with 25 years' experience in child protection. What follows are her words as recorded by the Polícia Judiciária. Yvonne said she lived part-time in Portugal and had heard the appeal on television on the 4th of May 2007. Because she worked in child protection, she went to Praia da Luz to offer help, arriving roughly 9:30 a.m. She initially asked police for directions to the correct apartment. At the apartment, she found a small group of 3 people, 2 who identified themselves as the child's parents and the third person who would not identify himself when asked. The parents said he was a close friend. The parents were visibly upset. Yvonne introduced herself and showed credentials. She asked routine professional questions, including how often the parents checked on the children. She was told people checked every hour. As part of her standard child protection practice, she asked whether Jerry was the biological father. Jerry said yes. Yvonne explained she asked because, in missing child cases, non-biological parents can be relevant to inquiries. Kate reacted defensively to those questions and said they were police questions. Yvonne then showed her official documents to reassure them. Jerry took Yvonne's credentials and displayed them to the third man, confirming they were authentic. Yvonne suggested she and Kate go into the apartment so Kate could speak privately. Kate refused and said they could speak on the street instead. Yvonne asked if anyone from the medical center had been with Kate. She was told they had not. A fourth person then approached and identified himself as a journalist. Yvonne advised the couple on the type of public statements they should make and suggested they keep silent. The third man, who had remained close to the couple, moved them away and spoke with them in whispers. Afterwards, he came to Yvonne and told her the couple did not want to speak to her anymore. Yvonne replied she would be available if they later wished to speak. Yvonne emphasized that the third man appeared familiar to her from previous professional contact. She could not recall precisely where, but suspected she had met him through work in child protection contexts, either as a colleague or witness. She could not recall the exact place or situation. She described the third man, appearance and clothing, about 35 years old, height approximately 1.80 meters, short dark hair, round face, scar above his eyebrow and on his left cheek, small rectangular lens glasses, Southern English accent, cream beige trousers, dark polo shirt and dark slip-on shoes. When asked whether she could identify him from photographs, she said yes. Yvonne spoke to the resort manager and asked if there had been a break-in. The manager said no, but that the apartment door and blinds had been open. On 13th June 2007 at Portimao Dick, Yvonne appeared before Inspector Jose Montero for photographic recognition. She was shown a set of photographs of members of the McCann holiday group. Yvonne recognized David Anthony Payne among the photographs as the person she had referred to in her statements and as someone she believed she had previously known in the course of her professional work. The photographic recognition document was drawn up, translated by the interpreter, and signed. Yvonne confirmed the integrity of her earlier statement on the 13th of June 2007 and stated everything was fully reproduced. She confirmed the list of places where she had worked in the UK: Gateshead, South Shields, Newcastle, York, Hull, North Tyneside, Plymouth. She reiterated that during her contact with the parents, Kate told her the child had been taken by a couple and that she did not have the opportunity to pursue that line of questioning in depth at the time. Yvonne reaffirmed again that the man close to the parents, later identified as David Payne, seemed familiar and that she possibly knew him from professional activity. She stated that about 2 weeks after Madeleine's disappearance, the police issued an appeal for information about a man seen carrying a child in the Lewes area with clothing described. Based on what she had observed that morning, she wrote an anonymous letter to the British police. In that letter, she expressed the opinion that, given the details she observed when speaking to the McCanns, the parents and their friends could possibly be involved in the child's disappearance. Reasons she gave for sending the anonymous letter. She had found the parents' initial reaction to her questioning aggressive. It had seemed strange that they rejected her offer of help after she showed credentials. She had been told there was no sign of a break-in, and, knowing they were doctors, she found it abnormal that they had left their children alone in the apartment. Drawing on her professional experience, she stated that in the vast majority of missing child cases, a family member is involved. She felt it her duty to inform police. She said she sent the letter anonymously because she did not want media attention. After describing the clothing the third man had been wearing when she met him, she said this clothing matched the description the police had given of the man seen carrying a child in the Lewes area. These coincidences led her to suspect the parents and their friends could be involved. She stated that one of her aims in writing anonymously was to ask the British police to check paedophile or child abuser registers and to ascertain whether David Payne appeared on such lists. These were the official testimonies of Dr. Katharina Gaspar, Dr. Arul Gaspar, and Yvonne Warren Martin. All three statements remain in the Portuguese police files to this day. They are rarely discussed in the media, but they form part of the documented record. Now the question is yours. What do you make of these accounts? Do you think they were overloaded? And again, why David Payne? And why would he have offered to go check on Kate and her children to see if they needed help while Jerry was out playing tennis? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more unreleased PJ witness statements analyzed one by one, make sure you like this video, share it, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next installment. And we hope this case gets solved and not turned into a cold case.